So, I don't know if, I guess we could do some questions. Okay.
All right. I want to say it was wonderful.
Thank you.
Light. You held me in anticipation, and I like that. I'm interested in knowing more, and that's always a good thing. But I wanted you to tell us a little bit about what is your process? What made you come up with this story? What made you decide to write this particular story? How do you go about your writing process?
Well, with this story, I don't know. Well, a few of it was, I guess, conscious things that I thought about, and some of it was, just sort of inspiration. So part of it was that I'm Haitian, so I was like, well, let me create a character that is Haitian as well. So that was something I wanted to do. And then I also decided to make him French, just still being in line with, Haitian culture and things like that and history. And so that was the stuff that I consciously thought of and things like that. But I just wanted to create, the story idea came to me overall just because I had been thinking of a romance to do, something that I could write, and I wanted to incorporate Haiti and the earthquake. And so from there, I don't know how all of the pieces then fell into place. That was part of the inspiration part, where I don't know what happened, but the idea just sort of came into my mind to create that she's a doctor and she's going there to help, and she meets someone who's also going there to help. And just what would happen if these two people meet. And so naturally I wanted to make her and him different personalities. So having her be someone who doesn't believe in love and who doesn't believe, that it can happen and happily ever after. So I decided to make him sort of the extreme counterbalance by making him someone who is part of a family that feels like when you know, you know. So I thought that would be interesting to sort of put these two people together.
That's great, thank you. I want to ask one more question. How is the publication aspect of it going for you? I noticed that that's an ebook, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Do you have plans for a hard copy one day, or what's your plan? What's your long-term goal of that novella?
Well, right now it's my publisher has a certain length.
Who is your publisher?
Liquid Silver Publishing.
Okay.
So they have a certain length before they make it a print book. So again, because I just wanted to see if I could do it, I didn't make it long enough. So it's only going to be an ebook. However, I'm thinking that when I get the rights back, after 2 years, they give you the rights back, that I will speak to Annette about getting it published with her. So I figure I may do that. Afterwards, I may make it myself a print book, because I have a few other short romances, so I feel like perhaps I'll put two together, and then, put that out as a print book, so that they can get something good when they get it,
I just want to say I loved it. I mean, right from the beginning, it was so visual. It was, I feel like I know this character. I mean, I just loved it right from the beginning, and I saw it in film. And so I don't know if that was something further down the road or whatever, but it's so visual. I was like, that easily could be turned into a movie.
Okay, yeah. No, I've never thought of that. Of course, Bridget does film, so I mean, I will speak to her about that. Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. It was the only thing I talk sometimes in my head about on the producing end. I was like, Dad, we're going to get an airport. We're going to get clearance for that.
Yeah.
But it was very visual, and I did see that in storyline for a film.
Okay.
Also,
nice.
How long did it take you to write this book?
It took me 2 months, and then I had to, of course, after that, after I finished the first draft, then I sent it to people from the writing group here and stuff like that to read for me, to do beta reading, and then I had to take it back for another month to do the edits of the feedback that they gave me, so I guess, altogether then 3 months,
My other part is, I know you have publishing with Liquid Silver.
Yeah.
How was that process? This is your first time publishing. How was that process for you?
It was nice. It was fun. I'm glad that I did it with a small publishing company because, I was able to go through the steps very easily. You know, it's like just one person that you're talking to the whole time, I guess, because they're a small, you know, they're pretty mid-sized. So it was good. I sent it to them, and through the same, you know, like just going online, finding out about them. And so they, you know, just reading the guidelines, I sent them the manuscript. So it was just something I just sent in. And they do a shorter time to respond. Like most places will take 2 or 3 months. This one just took, I think, 2 weeks. So I got back, you know, the acceptance, which was awesome. And so then they give you some notes to, like, a few edits that they would like you to make. They assign you with an editor. This woman named Jean was my editor, and so I worked with her and things to make a few changes. Then you go through and they do the line edits with you, and then that's it. Then they send you the advanced reader copy for you to send out and things. I will say the one thing about being with a small publishing company is, while it's nice to go through the steps with them, they don't help you with marketing, you know, because again, it's just one person, so it's really not much help. So for the next book, I do want a bigger one so that I could get a little more help with marketing, or just maybe a wider distribution, you know. So, but yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, Rita?
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
It held my interest. And also, did you develop the characters first and then mesh the story, or did you just let it just develop as you were writing?
Yeah, I just let it develop as I'm writing. I do know what I do want to get better at is creating more of the characters before I start the story, as in just maybe more of the know more about the backstory of the characters. I do want to do that more. I did it to an extent, of course. I knew some basics, but as I was writing, it just, you know, like stuff would just start happening in the story, and I would feel like, okay, well, let's go there. So, but I feel like, you know, at least if I know a little bit more, I think things could happen more naturally if I knew the characters better. So that's something with my next one. I really am trying to know the characters better so that I could, you know, do it differently. Though I do know, even knowing the characters of my next book better, it still just sort of happens, you know, as you're writing, something comes up and you just feel like, you know, okay, well, we'll just add this suddenly, you know. So it's sort of a mixture of both, you know.
That was a wonderful piece that you read. Thank you.
Thanks.
How much research did you have to do in order to create the setting of the doctor going to Haiti? Did you go to Haiti during that time? Was it an experience that you had that you put into the book?
Yeah, well, yeah. Thankfully, because I'm Haitian and I've been to Haiti before, and could also ask my mom and stuff, I didn't have to do a lot of research, which was good for me because I don't really like to do research. So I was able to, I definitely just asked my mom, you know. I mean, I put in things that I knew, and then if I was not sure, I was like, oh, because she also went to Haiti for the earthquake, and she's a doctor, she went to help. So I just sort of took her experience, you know, and asked her where she went and what the tent city looked like and things like that. So I really just pulled from my mom, thankfully, and so it wasn't anything, you know, that deep in terms of research, you know. Yep.
I also wanted to say congratulations,
Thanks.
Michelle. I love the amount of detail that you put in your writing, like the little things that you tell your reader, just what clothes she had on. You don't leave anything for chance, and I just think that's such a skill to have. And I guess my question for you is, as you're writing, it's a series of novels,
Yeah.
and each novella will be different characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm making it, so this is book 1, and I want to do Nicholas's brothers. So I want to do Jacques, who will have a different story because he obviously, even though he's part of the Machan family and knows that you're supposed to know when you know, he obviously fights the knowing that he has when he meets the woman that he, you know, should be with. And then I want to do the middle brother, Edward, who is sort of between Nicholas and Jacques in terms of how romantic he is and things like that. So yeah, I want to do the other two, and for those I want to make them longer, now that I'm just sort of building my confidence. So those two I want to make longer.
And they're all interracial stories?
No, they're different. So Jacques is with a white woman, but Edward is with Asian. So yes, he will also be interracial. But so one of them isn't, two of them are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what was your experience like writing and the point of view of the doctor and the man,
Right.
the love interest? I noticed that you're showing 2 points of views.
Yeah.
Throughout the book, do you maintain the 2 points of views? Do you add other points of views of other characters? Or what was your experience doing that? And why did you choose to do more than one point of view?
I enjoyed doing it, and with romance, that's sort of the norm, you know. So that's why I did it, because it's pretty much the norm to do the woman and the man. Though I've read like Jules Devereux will do just the woman sometimes, and that's also very good. But I find that sometimes to be harder, because then it's like the amount of detail you have to give so that the person can know how the man feels, you know. If I do just the woman, I have to also like make him do things so that you can know how the man is feeling. So I found it to be easier to do the man and the woman. And by knowing about the character, I didn't think it was too difficult to make like the man's point of view. Though, you know, I'm sure there will always be a slight bias reading romance, probably. Getting the man's point of view, I'm sure some men are like, this is not what I would do. But, you know, I mean, that's, you know, the way it's normally written. So I was happier to split it up. And I usually do that. And for this book, it's just Rochelle and Nicholas, their point of view. But in the next book and other books, I have, you know, different characters that I sometimes put in and give their point of view, you know, just to flesh out the secondary characters as well. Yeah. So.
Also, so with the male character, did you consult with the male, like your brother or someone, to say, well, is this the verbiage? Because, you know, males have a tendency to speak different.
Yeah.
And also it has to do with maybe their education, or whether they're in an urban setting, or their careers, professional or something. So what, did you do that kind of inquiry?
Yeah, I did, and I didn't speak necessarily to my brother directly, but I mean, I did like check certain things, you know, to make sure that it made sense. But also, I have read so many romance. Like, this is, I guess, probably my favorite genre, or the one I most frequently read. I can't say my favorite because I also love like horror and mystery, but this is the one that I will always have a romance. So I felt that it was almost just a sort of second nature for me to create the male character, because I have read so much romance that it just is sort of like, you know, it's just kind of inside me, you know. So I was able to, and I've seen like the bad romance where I felt like, oh no, this was not good, and the ones that I was like, oh, this really, I could see the man and I could see the woman well. So I just tried to steer clear of making him too metrosexual and all these, you know, things that it was like, oh, clearly this is not a real man. I tried to, you know, just sort of steer clear of that, you know. Yeah. Any of you guys? No, just kidding. Yeah, Bridget.
Oh, she has some.
Oh, I was just harassing them. Okay, go.
Well, one, thank you so much for inviting us.
Oh,
It's
sure.
pretty good. It's lovely to see your first published book. So, do you think you're going to stick with romance for a while, or in the foreseeable future, do you think that you'll write another genre? And why romance in particular do you like so much?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to stick with just romance. I want to do, because I love Roald Dahl, so I want to do those style of books as well, for that age group as well. And I also love, Parable of the Sower, which was Octavia Butler. So I want to do sci-fi, is what I mean, young adult sci-fi. And I also would love to do, there's one, I don't know the genre of some of the ones that I write. They're sort of a creepy horror, I guess, but I don't know exactly what genre there are. So but I would like to do these different kinds of stories. But with those stories, they are usually different formats. So with the horror, I usually do those as short stories, or I do them as a play, or I have like a movie that I'm writing, and so that is also horror. So I don't think I would ever write a romance as a play or as a movie or something like that, or a short story. So I feel like those other formats I usually leave for the other genres. But with the first novel, to be doing it for the first time, I felt like, well, I definitely want to do romance because it's just something that I'm so familiar with. I knew that I would be able to get it out, easily and stuff like that, So for now, I feel like the second book I'm working on is also romance, just because I feel like, let me get some things out in romance so that, people who are appreciating my books can find something else to read. But then I also, started to work on a play and, some other short stories that I also have been sending out to magazines. So I guess I sort of do both at the same time, but my biggest focus right now is just getting the romance out, And the reason I love romance is, I don't know, because I'm a lady. I just enjoy, I think it's fun. It's a lighthearted genre. And I love certain people who do it very well. I enjoy, I feel like it's easy to get through, first of all. You enjoy yourself. If you're on a train, bus, you could just whip it out and read. And then I like romantic comedy. That's what I mostly like. So I like that it's fun and funny and stuff like that, So that's what I...
How long have you been writing? Call yourself a writer. How long?
Okay, that's since, I don't know. Good question. I think since right after, always, because Philip and I used to write stories and plays when we were kids, and we would act it out with our dolls and stuff. So I've always loved writing, and then when I went to college, I did writing. But it wasn't until I came home from college that in 2003 that I really started calling myself that. I guess being older, feeling like, oh, okay, now I'm a writer, and that's when I started doing the spoken word poetry and stuff in New York. And so I started with poetry and then started building the length until I got to the novella, and now I'm getting to the novel. So I'm just sort of building on the length, I guess. All right.
Thank you.
So yeah, I definitely want to thank you guys for coming. And there's more food and snacks in the back. Also, Philip has set up his laptop because it is, it's an ebook. So if you want to get it, or if you already have it, I'm able to do the electronic signing, So I'll be doing that now. What it is basically I sign the, so it's an app on your iPad, and they allow you to, they have a page where you sign the page and write whatever kind of message you would like, and then you send the person the free copy. So if you bought it, you're not rebuying it. And then when you download the link, it replaces the book into your e-reader or whatever, and then you'll have the signed copy when you open the book, You'll be able to see the message and stuff. So I'll be doing that and things as well.
Michelle, we have something for you.
Okay.
This is from the Brooklyn Society Writers Group.
Thank you very much.
And those are the Rainbow Roses. We thought that they might be creative like you are. So, thank you so much. I'd like to say one thing. I met you at the New York Writers Coalition, and you wrote this story about the little girl in the window, and then everything you've ever written resonates. It's just you're such a great writer. The woman with the wedding gown that fades, and the woman at the psychiatric place.
Yeah.
I mean, your voice is so wonderful, Michelle. So just to hear that you're doing all these different genres, I'm just so impressed and can't wait to read it all. So I think our group is just so proud of you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
All right. Cool.